Hello, Michelle Wennis here, Loving Through the Pink. Update, I met with my social worker and then my therapist. I'm not sure if I'll have time to go through both, but I sat down with the social worker for the second time, and I found it to be very helpful. We had a lot to talk about, and rather than speaking about concerns I've had that I've been aware of for a long time, we were actually talking about what I want now, moving forward. Where do I see myself in a sense? And the most comfortable thing for me to say, honestly, to her was, I want to be okay with not being okay. And by that, I mean just feeling I don't have to be in a perfect situation that I set up all the time. My kids don't have to be in a perfect environment all the time. My husband and I don't always have to be in a perfect situation all the time. And I just don't want to be worried about fixing anymore. I've always loved fixing. It helps me give myself a sense of control over different situations. And that was something that came up. So as bright and shiny as I might seem, maybe not in all the videos, but at least in some of them, and if you met me in real life, I'm pretty bubbly. I realized that there's a lot of anger that I've had over the years that I've carried against certain people whom I care about a lot. And the way I dealt with that anger was to just sort of pretend it wasn't there, ignore it, look on the bright side, but that anger doesn't go away. So what I would do to cope with it would be to just deny, and then something would come up, and then I would just get really triggered. And I would just seem really unreasonable. And while I would be sitting with, let's say, you and I would be having a cup of coffee, someone would say something or bring up a sensitive topic, and then I would just sort of panic, like blood would rush to my head, my face, and I would just feel really helpless. You would have to be someone I really love and care about, because I can't be that vulnerable with other people. And as is the case for many, you are sort of most honest with the people truly deep down love you. And so that's how I've been to deal with, especially with my family, my brothers and my mother, my father. That's how I coped. I would just smile and be positive all the time, feeling like there was really no room for me to be upset with anything. Always be grateful. Everybody has sacrificed so much all the time. And I think I learned, and I'm not saying this to blame anyone, this is just how I processed. I learned how to be quite a liar. So, pretending to myself that I was okay because it would be better to just get over it, or not deal with it, whatever it was, than to get into some kind of conflict, And so positive has always been good. Looking at the bright side has always been good. And those are really great attitudes to have. However, when you don't deal with the flip side of that flip side does not actually go away. And I've mentioned before that I believe that's where really the Lord has wanted me to go for the last few years. And He knows what my issues are, but I need to know what my issues are so I can recognize them and then move on. It doesn't mean it's going to happen with the blink of an eye or a magic spell. It just means I'm going to have to learn how to cope differently. And so there's this honesty that needs to come out. I thought I was pretty honest before. I always see myself as a really friendly person. But if you can relate, if you're one of those people like me who likes to make everybody feel comfortable in a room, joke around, make people feel like they can put their guard down and relax, you have this persona. and you're good at it, and I do too. And it's this persona of being able to just sort of embrace the person right in front of me, and make that person feel special, because I just see a connection with everybody, you know, whether it's the post woman or the grocer or my doctor or someone I run into that I haven't seen for 5,000 years. I feel connected, and I thrive on that connection with others. So anyway, that was the big revelation, was just not always being okay when things aren't well. So having to sort of manipulate different situations, thinking, okay, A plus B equals C, and that's okay. But A plus C equals, oh my gosh, I don't know, or A plus F equals, it's all over, I've ruined everybody, I'm a terrible mother, I'm a terrible wife, what was I thinking homeschooling, questioning every decision I've made in the sun, how could I even have gotten married, I knew I wouldn't be good at this, blah, blah, blah. So I'm sure I'm not the only one who has felt this way, which is why I'm sharing this so openly. It's all going to come to a head at one point. So I believe that if you just try to ignore these feelings, they're going to bottle up and they're going to blow up at all the opportune times to really, lose your patience with someone. So that was a very positive thing for me with a social worker. I was just sort of deciding on goals, and I don't want to meet with her forever, and so we agreed on meeting in a month. So I think I don't want to get into the meeting with a therapist, which was shortly after. I think I'll wait on that one. I'll do a different video on that, but it was really good to work with somebody who isn't going to go deep into your past, but be able to kind of help you where you're at, you know. So I mentioned that I'm pretty healthy at this point, and there aren't a whole lot of treatments that I had to do after my bilateral mastectomy and reconstructive surgery. But I realized after I had sort of sped through the recovery that it takes time. So my last video was called Process, and now it's sort of, I guess, learning to be okay with not being okay, and, you know, moving out of states of denial and escapism, I guess, that I've always gone to as far as my toolbox, setting those aside and just being able to sit and breathe. So that's one of the things I've been doing more, is just being more present in my moments. So I'll get into the car and I'll do exactly what I used to recommend to my childbirth students and my baby and me students, just to take that moment and just breathe. And I talk to God. And today I actually really felt him talking back. And I think I've been too busy to really hear. I've heard like his voice in between the cracks. But today was a really good day to be able to connect with him. And so that's what I'll be doing, is connecting more with my quiet spaces and throughout my day, making spaces throughout my day for that quiet time. And it could be anywhere. It doesn't have to be in front of any kind of crazy shrine, or I don't have to be sitting in any kind of special position or have proper lighting. Like, I literally can just stop and say thank you and hello, God. And I'll show you something that helps me sort of connect even more at another time. You know, God is sort of in the air for me, and I'm a very touchy-feely person, so I'll talk more about how I connect with him a little deeper, and then in that way also have him show me more of what he wants to reveal to me that he thinks I'm ready for. I know that sounds sort of weird if you don't speak the same language that I do when it comes to this. But you can always ask and write a comment or something, and I'll be happy to talk to you a little bit more about it. All right, so that's Michelle. I met with a social worker, and I'm going to be okay with being okay. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.